We're going to go ahead and get started with our post-race press conference. We are now joined by Matt McCall, crew chief of our winning team. Congrats, Matt.
Thank you, ma'am.
We'll go right ahead and open it up for questions. If you have one, please raise your hand and we will get to you. We'll start down here with Cameron. We'll go to Bob, Jordan, and Jacob.
Cameron Richardson, NASCAR.com. Just what are the intangibles that just separate Keselowski from the bunt from pretty much anyone else?
Yeah, I mean, the work ethic, the studying, I mean, it's just the amount of stuff that guy thinks about during the day is sort of scary sometimes. At the same time, you're like, well, it pays off too because, he just puts in the work in every department. So obviously it's been a long time coming, and be able to put all that together now is really sweet.
Go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. As you can imagine, we ask Brad about the winless streak a lot, and he keeps telling us.
Really? When did you ask him?
Almost every month at least.
All right.
So, and he keeps telling us that he's not really thinking too much about it. He's not really thinking too much about it. Is he truthful with us, or
100%.
You guys don't talk about it?
We just talk about winning, right? I mean, it does us no good to talk about the losing streak, right? You just got to talk about how you're going to win. That's what you talk about, I mean, obviously it's been a long time coming, but we feel like we've been getting a little closer and closer, so it feels good now.
Go to Jordan.
Jordan Bianchi, The Athletic. Chris has got 4 wins since Brad, coming to the organization, and I know you guys have ran well and been close, made the playoffs, etc. But seeing Chris get into victory lane 4 times, does it just kind of gnaw at you that they're able to knock that door down and you guys haven't been able to?
I think it just confirmed we're going to have to work hard for it, right? I mean, that's pretty much what it boiled down to. I mean, I think, all those races they won, it's great that they were able to win. I felt like we were in contention. We just couldn't put it together, right? I mean, this is the first race I would say that nothing actually happened until the caution came out at the end. It was almost still not good, but it worked out okay.
We'll go to Jacob, then Dustin, then Jerry.
Jacob Seelman, Raceface Digital. Matt, 2 for you. First, you've gotten the chance to work with Brad, obviously both as a driver and seeing what he's brought to the organization as an owner. Behind the scenes, what maybe do we not see that Brad has done to really help propel this turnaround since he's joined RFK?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just he'll keep asking questions what we need tool-wise, and just continue trying to build relationships of how we get better. I mean, I think the amount of effort behind the scenes is crazy, the amount of hours the guy puts in, and still drives the race car every Sunday as hard as he can, So it's so many things, I mean, you can't really just name one because it's actually pretty amazing, the list he works on every day.
What is it about the chemistry between you two that even though it's taken this long to get into victory lane, I mean, you listen to you guys on the radio and it just seems there's something there that really works for both of you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we have some similar mentalities thinking. We also were able to butt heads a little bit, but cordially, right? And so we've been able to do that a few times behind doors, and it always comes next week to make it a little better,
Go to Dustin, then Jerry.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Matt, can you give me a sense of perspective? Obviously, when Brad first came over and with you, there was always those questions. Why would he leave an organization where he had been and had success to a group that had not had as much success? Can you give a sense of perspective about just the building of what you guys have had to do to get to this point and what's gone into this? Because it's not a one day thing or one race thing for sure.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is trying to, and this car's obviously created a lot of difference when you first start with it, right? So building that notebook and database and trying to understand how to continue to build. And obviously Brad loves a challenge. Honestly, he's always thinking really far out. It wouldn't be surprising me with 10 to go. He's worried about what we're taking in North Wilkesboro, right? So I mean, this is how we think sometimes, So definitely always thinking out for the future, which allows us to continue to make gains each week as well.
And certainly with Brad, there were so many things going on in his orbit. It's easy on the outside to say he's got too much going on, or this.
Don't worry, we tell him that. Keep going.
And I'm just curious, is just how has he worked through that, or what are the challenges? Because there is a lot in his orbit, and this takes a tremendous amount of focus just to have this success.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is if he's not that busy, it makes it more of a whirlwind. So he has to have that much on his plate, and it's just sort of divvy out what that takes to keep that, the racing side and the business side pushing him both directions. Yes, sir.
We'll go to Jerry, and then in the back to Matt.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net. So what was your emotions, your heart rate on the pit box when he's up there battling with Reddick, and then he gets together and drops back, and your teammate goes around, and it looks like your teammate's going to win, and then all of a sudden they get together, and then now you guys are in the lead. What was going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, right? I mean, because we felt like we were in a good spot for the long run. even if the 45 got in front of us there, we thought we were going to be okay. Probably about the last 5 or 6 laps, we felt like it was probably going to happen. When the 17 got in front of us, like, okay, he's probably got a really good car too. Hadn't seen him all day, so really didn't know to know for sure leading. And then that happens, and you're like, okay, let's see if it's going to play out. And I feel like we've lost a couple like that, so we'll take one like that today.
We'll go to Matt.
Matt Weaver, Sportsnaut. I walked in late, so I apologize if this has been covered.
We accept your apology.
Thank you. The Cup Series wins you've already had, or any other major achievement that you've had, whether as a driver, as a crew member, anything. I'm curious, how does this first one, given the road that it's taken to build this organization and team back up, how does that compare to other accomplishments in your career?
I would say it's right at the top. Obviously, winning at Darlington is huge for me. Obviously close to home. The racing here is my style, for what I've always enjoyed, for tons of fall off, trying to make a car good on a long run and short run. I just think there's a lot that the driver can control here, which I always think as well. It makes the racing fun. So this is top of the list as much as we've tried to. We came here. I was fortunate enough to bring a lot of people to RFK to try to, to get a little bit of culture change and keep pushing to try to get better each week. And this car has allowed us to do that. And then Brad obviously has been able to keep doing that for us, to keep bringing people in to get better.
Are there any additional questions for Matt? We'll come down here and wrap with Dustin.
Why did you even end up with Matt? I mean, with Brad. I mean, I know you were elsewhere in a different situation and looking for, but why is this? Why was this pairing?
I like a challenge as well, and when Chip Ganassi shut down, the opportunity was, not something I was really looking for at that point in time. And I started building a relationship with Brad to the side, and we really didn't know that we were going to do it, but just got to build that relationship and knew what his drive was and what his vision was, and it's pretty interesting to me. I feel like this sport's never easy, but there's always things that keep jerking at you to make you want to try to make changes at different places, and that's what I was looking for.
What's the challenge with Brad?
The biggest thing is just understanding how to keep him at his top level. Because he has a scary ability. It's every week, just like last week. We drove from 25th to 4th or something, right? Which doesn't happen at Kansas, right? So for me, and it's not getting him there, it's getting what he needs to get there, And I think that's been the hardest thing with this car for us, being able to get that exact line, to be able to go from the short run to the long run and know what the balance you need. We had him too loose at Dover, and he's going to drive it until it spins out, right? So it's just understanding what that is the biggest thing, And I think that it's taken a lot of time for us to continue to build that, to obviously build his confidence, so we're going to give him something he can drive every week.
All right, Matt. Congratulations.
Thanks
for your time
Appreciate
today.
It, guys.